So let's talk about mindsets in this video. What is the optimum mindset that we need to have to go forward and for us to try and achieve our goals with whatever it may be? Because it's good to have a wide range of perspectives, but when it comes to goal setting and trying to achieve things, we should only really have one mindset, and that mindset needs to be based in truth. It really needs to be based in something that cannot fall apart when we dig at it. It needs to be based on first principle. Now, I believe the best mindset that we can kind of have, basically, towards any kind of goal is the same mindset that the bodybuilder has who is trying to build muscle. Because the bodybuilder is basing his reality on the truths of biology when it comes to building muscle and developing his stress tolerance. Because when it comes to goal setting, we want to achieve something that's beyond ourselves. We want to become an individual who is not yet who we are right now. We want to achieve something so that we can develop as an individual. We need to develop our stress tolerance. Now, one way in which the only way the bodybuilder does this to build muscle, to build strength, to become stronger, is through the technique of progressive overload. And what progressive overload is that over time, through consistency, which is also very necessary, you increase the intensity of your lifts, of everything that you're doing within the gym. Every time that you work on a certain muscle group, you increase the intensity while also ticking off a load of other first principles that the bodybuilder will go by to increase muscle growth, to increase strength in general, such as consistency, making sure that he sleeps at least 7 to 8 hours a day, making sure that he's in a calorie surplus, making sure that he's working under progressive overload every time he works and does, work at the gym. So when it comes to a mindset, we need to have progressive overload as the mindset to life in general, especially if we want to develop mental strength. Because we can develop physical strength, but we also need to develop mental strength. We need to overcome our mental weaknesses as much as we need to overcome our physical weaknesses. And progressive overload is how we do that. So how do we basically apply progressive overload so that we can build our mental stress tolerance? If the bodybuilder's lifting weights all the time, he's getting bigger muscles, whatever, he's building strength, he is increasing his baseline of stress tolerance all the time, every single day when he is lifting. We need to do the same thing if we want to overcome our mental weaknesses. We need to do exactly the same thing. We need to increase our baseline of stress tolerance. The only way we can do that is by first identifying what our inferior psychological functions are. We need to identify what we are weak at. What is it within our mindset, well, not our mindset, but our mentality, that is very weak? We need to understand, what do we fear? What do we have anxiety towards? What is it that we are avoiding that we should be approaching with courage and all of these things? We need to look at things in that way. So we need to understand what our weaknesses are. And then we can then apply progressive overload to those weaknesses so that we increase our baseline threshold constantly. The more we overload that stimuli, or the more we stimulate that certain thing that we have a problem with. So let's say, for example, a mental weakness of one individual, many people in general, is social anxiety. So how do we increase our stress tolerance towards things that trigger social anxiety? We simply apply something very similar, but in a mental fashion. It's called situational exposure. This is the same thing as progressive overload, because you apply the technique of progressive overload within situational exposure. Situational exposure is when you simply increase the difficulty of certain situations you expose yourself to so that you increase your threshold while doing them, so that your threshold of stability is increased over and over again the more you do certain things. So that is one way. For example, if someone had social anxiety, you would apply situational exposure to your reality. You do things that are incrementally difficult each time, once a week. Over time, you apply it into your routine, apply it into your lifestyle, and you will do what that specific thing is, socially, whatever, environmentally, extrovertedly, every week, so that you increase your threshold of stress tolerance, so that you can overcome your weaknesses and build strengths the same way that the bodybuilder will overcome his baseline to build physical strength by doing progressive overload. So progressive overload is key to not just building muscle, but building physical strength, but also mental strength. If you want to build mental strength, you have to apply progressive overload. You have to do things consistently that are more difficult, so that nothing fundamentally at the end of the day is something that will get in your way of achieving whatever goal you want, because there will be no fear left within you. You shall not be afraid anymore of doing certain things, because you are constantly always doing things that you find challenging for yourself. And if you do that, then your threshold's going to be through the roof. You're going to be able to handle all sorts of things. And that's exactly what you want, especially as a man who is trying to be grounded and capable, and someone who's trying to hold his own reality together so that he can be the best version of himself. Or a woman, of course, who just wants to simply anyone who wants to fundamentally achieve their goals and get to a place that they are not yet at. So the best mindset is always going to be progressive overload. Progressive overload so that you achieve physical strength and mental strength, so that your stress tolerance increases, so that you can tolerate stress better. And by tolerating stress better, that means not only you getting rid of stress, but you're making certain things not stressful for you anymore. That's how you get rid of anxiety. That's how you get rid of fear. That's how you get rid of many little things that we struggle with all the time. And it's basically a process of leaving our comfort zone and stepping into the learning zone, stepping into the fear zone, or that of which we are not knowing of yet. The space of the unknown, fundamentally, so that we can relate to that unknown reality we are not yet sure of, so that we can build an understanding of it. And the more we understand something, the more we are in tune, and the more we can be secure with that thing itself, so that we know what to expect, so that we build strengths in those areas fundamentally. So that is what I'd recommend. If you have any kind of goal that you want to try and achieve, you need to look at progressive overload as being the core principle to what you use yourself to push you through anything that you desire to achieve. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, guys, make sure to give it a like. If you also think of anything similar that you believe is very relevant here, comment your thoughts down below. If you're a bodybuilder yourself, what kind of principles do you use when it comes to building strength? Or how do you believe that this is a relevant topic of discussion for this kind of stuff? And of course, if you're interested in coaching with regards to overcoming procrastination, bad habits, building good habits, understanding the behaviorism of habit formation so that you can apply those techniques to yourself to build good habits, or if you are struggling with self-limiting beliefs or anything of that nature, book in a call with me and we can see how I can apply what I know to your situation so that you can overcome any difficulty that you are facing at the moment. And of course, the free individuation webinar. Make sure to download that and watch that, and as it is full of very interesting, insightful information for you to know about the topic of individuation, self-actualization, and how to actually practically do it. So with that said, guys, thanks for watching, and I will speak to you in the next